Good day, Shabbos Parshas Emor. This week's Parsha, it says, Sfirat Mochem Mochas Shabbos V'yem V'yachas Ha'omer Nifa. You should start counting from the day after Pesach, after the first day of Pesach, from the day that you bring Korban Omer, 7 weeks. And Torah says the mitzvah from Shabbos is the mitzvah from Sfiras Ha'omer. The mitzvah from Sfiras Ha'omer, as Moshiba Hashem, the Zohar Kodesh, and all the Svar Kodesh speak about, it has to do with the same idea we find by Nida, for Strafala, Shivas Yomim. Nida has to be Mitahar herself, have to cleanse herself 7 weeks. Karmatimus Nida. And so too, Klal Yisrael, when they're getting ready to meet the Rebbeinu Shalom, Matan Torah, Ponim and Ponim, Diva Hashem Yimachem, Eivish spoke to us face to face. We have to cleanse ourselves to the Rebbeinu Shalom in these 7 weeks from Tumas Nida that we have, Tumas Nida that came from Mitzrayim, and that's the Avodah from these weeks of Sfiras Ha'omer. I'd like to delve into this concept, and the point is because the concept of Tumas Nida is not just to do with the Isha L'Bayla. It's also between Hashem and Klal Yisrael. It's a more broader concept, meaning to say that this is one of the marachas that Hashem created the world with. It's one of the ways Hashem uses in order to make the world the best in His eye possible, the best way possible. And that goes through a certain system. It's called the system for Nidya, for Tarasa. Just like we find that a poor person appreciates his money more after, if he becomes rich afterwards, than a rich person that was born rich. Just like when someone appreciates his body, his life, if he went through certain hard episodes in life, tsaras and sicknesses. So too, a fundamental way of the connection of a husband and wife is through concept of Tumas Nida that brings them together. And so it's part of a broader system in the world. It's not miyuchad to just a husband and wife. So if we'll see how Svar Kodesh connect both together, connect the Sfiras Ha'omer in many aspects from Pesach until, from actually Mitzrayim, until Matan Torah, all having to do with this concept, we'll see that this is a broader system that Hashem created in the world. I'd like to start off with a story. The story is brought down by Yitzchak Zilberstein. It's in the Sefer of Hanagas with Piskei Yosef Chaim Zanafel. Yosef Chaim Zanafel was the first Rav at the Eder Achedes, Adam Gadol, Adam Kaddish. Once, there was a woman that came to Rav Yosef Chaim Zanafel, and she was crying to him that she can't get clean to her husband. She's always seeing damnidus. She's always seeing damnidus, and there's always another problem, and she just can't get to her. We find in the Pesach in many ways there were certain sicknesses that ladies had. They speak about how it's possible for ladies to get to her for the husband, and it was a big problem. Well, Hashem, these days, the whole concept of a bedekes helps a lot of these problems. But in the early times, sometimes ladies couldn't get Torah for Tumas Nida to the husband. So Yosef Chaim Zanafel told her, come to the basic Knesset every night on the Sfiras Ha'omer to listen to me make my bracha. If you listen to me, make my bracha of Sfiras Omer, Siyat Shmaya, hopefully you'll have a Yeshua. That's how it happened. She came every night to Sfiras Omer to her bracha, and she had a refuah shaloma, and it was a grace of Pella. Obviously, the understanding over here is that Sfiras Omer is a time the Klal Yisrael gets tar from their tumas nida to get close to the Rebbeinu Shalom. And the skula of Adam Tzaddik that does it the right way, does this mitzvah the right way, has a koyach to mirapa anyone with that chayli of tumas nida. And Kachava and the lady got misrapa. The Mogen Avram, the Simreish Samach brings down from the Magid Meshorim, the Malach, the Magid, he used to speak to the Beis Yosef, that you're not supposed to cut your fingernails and your toenails on the same day, in one day. It has to be done split into 2 different days. In the Sefer L'Makit Marich discusses this, and Marich Mirman brings this down. Sefer L'Makit Marich discusses this halacha, an Eresh Shavuos, and he says like this, that I heard from Ish Muflig, Choshev Yid, sounds to be Tam Chacham, Ish Muflig, I guess, the Chassid, and the Chassid, the Eresh Shavuos, he was by the Harav HaKodesh, the holy person, man, Rav, Beneni Harav, Elimelech Merudnik, this is a Chayrin Tzaddik Levracha. Came to the Heilige Rebbe, Melech Merudnik, was Iyanikov from Melech Lezhensk, and he found him that he was cutting his hands and feet nails at once. And he asked him, what's going on over here? You're not supposed to cut your nails and feet in the same day. And he answered him, the Rabbi Kodesh answered him, I'm not a lamdin. I don't know only what it says in Zohar Kodesh, that a person has to be mitayar himself in Shavuos, the time of Shavuos, Sfiras Omer, like a woman to her husband. And if you're going to the mikveh, ladies going to the mikveh, she has to cut her fingers and nails on the same day. Oh, Allah. Okay, you shouldn't be doing it earlier. Day of the mikveh, you should be entire yourself, cutting your nails and hands and feet on the same day, every woman, when she goes to the mikveh. So he said, tonight is the chasna, tonight we have to get close to the Eibishter. And like a woman gets close to her husband after the mikveh, has to go to the mikveh, so too we're going to the mikveh to mitar atzmeinu lebalenu HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it's time to cut your nails, hands and feet in the same day. That's what the Kit Merich brings down halacha b'maisa, and the Bailach Bidin brings down the Chedishim also said the same concept. So we see from the story how literal they took this concept of the time of Shavuos is a time of Sfiras Omer is a time to retire ourselves to the Rebbeinu Shalom, like a woman retires herself to her husband. So it says in the 6 Pashas, Hatalchem Mochas HaShabbos V'yom V'yachim Ha'omer, Niva Sheva Shabbos Tmimos, should count 7 full weeks. Tiana Adon Mochas HaShabbos HaShvius, until the 7th week. Tisbrich HaMishimim should count 50 days. V'krafta Mincha Chadash L'Hashem, you should makriv V'nu Mincha, you should makriv the Mincha from Shtei Lechem. On Pesach, the 2nd day of Pesach, we makriv the Korban Omer, which is Sa'orim, and on Shavuos we makriv the bread from Chitim. Shtei Lechem, which came from Chitim. Yeah. The Chaim HaKadosh writes in this pasuk, Hatalchem, Hashem wanted him mizdabek and out in the Ummah Yisrael. Domba kim mishpat nida, who's done us like a mishpat from a nida. Shedina lisbo zaynikim. You have to be done, be safer, count zaynikim. V'tzivash yispri sheva shvius, and he was with us to count 7 weeks. V'oziyim l'chshurim l'chnisam l'kala l'chuppah, like a kala to a chuppah. Then we'll be clean like a kala l'chuppah. V'hagam kishom sheva yom l'kan sheva shvius. I l'chor by a woman in the 7 days of 7 weeks. So why is it so much longer? It should be 7 days. Why 7 weeks? So he says, first of all, there was a lot of Tumah Mitzrayim, abundance of Tumah, so we need the extra time. And second of all, over here it's Klal Yisrael as a whole, and over there, by the woman, it's a woman by herself. So Klal Yisrael as a whole needs 7 weeks. So that's what it means. It should be for you, l'taraschem, l'sibaschem. So, because if not, besides that, the Eibusher could have given it to the Torah right away. So why did he want to? Why did he wait 7 weeks? This is for your good. And he says, even though this is about Pesach Mitzrayim, the whole Cheshbon makes. He says, but the commission has every year Hashem we go through the same process again and again. Ki kamoy ken yasle b'seid Hashem ki du l'chaydeichem. It's applicable, you know, that the hashpos and the inyanim return every year, and we go through the same process every year. So that's why this year comes Pesach, it comes Shavuos, it comes Sfirat. We have to go through the process, being tired ourselves like a Isha L'Bayla. But there's a little more of an oimik over here. It's not just Tahal Isha L'Bayla, regular nidus. There's actually 3 different places where we find very interesting Dina Tumah, Tumas Isha L'Bayla. We find very dramatic places. One is when a woman has a child, there's Tumah Yeladas. You would think that now Tumah someone has a child, there's a time for her to help his wife, to calm her, to show love. No, Torah says she's tummy. 7 days, 14 days. She's tummy. That momentous moment, she becomes tummy. The same thing, there's Dam Sulam. We discussed this already, Siyat and Shema in the past. That the Dam Sulam, the Torah is Mishabech Klal Yisrael, that the first beer, she becomes tummy. We think Shavrach now's the time to connect, now's the time to show love. So the Torah says this Dam Sulam, she becomes tummy. And there's another Tumah, which we'll talk about now, also a momentous time. And let's see. It says in Chazal, Tzena v'rena b'neis tziyah b'melech shloima, Klal Yisrael should go out, and it's talking about Tzena v'rena, the Pasuk should assume that people should go out and look, b'neis tziyah, and the daughters of Tziyah, it means Klal Yisrael b'melech, the daughters of Tziyah should go out and see b'melech Shloima, the king Shloima, which is Hashem, Shashalom Shaloi, Ba'atara she'itla imoi, and they should recognize the crown that their mother adorned them, B'yoim Chasinasai, in the day of the Chasin, and B'yoim Simchas Liboi, in the day of the happiness of the heart. So what does it mean, B'yoim Chasinasai? B'yoim, Zog the Gemara, B'yoim Chasinasai zim Matan Torah, B'yoim Simchas Liboi zim B'yoim Beis HaMikdash, Shibara Me'heim Me'enu. That the Matan Torah is considered B'yoim Chasinasai. Klal Yisrael, together with the Rebbeinu Shalom, was a time of a Chasin. That's when we became Am Hashem. That's when we went into, we saw Panim Diba Hashem Imanu. It was a time of what was considered their wedding. We say in the Broch Mechasin, it says we say Kalash Am Yisrael Adei Chuppah V'Kedushin, Adei Chuppah V'Kedushin, and we find the Shulchan Kebetza says that what is Mekadosh Am Yisrael Adei Chuppah V'Kedushin? Hashem was Mekadosh Klal Yisrael through Chuppah and through Kedushin. That Chuppah was Kof Aleim HaKagigas. He put the mountain on top of us like a Chuppah. And Kedushin was the Torah that He gave us. He gave us money. What's the money Hashem gave us? He gave us the Luchos. He gave us the Torah. That was the Kedushin. Now Hashem was Mekadosh Klal Yisrael, Mekadosh Am Yisrael Hadei Chuppah Kedushin. Every time we're Mekadosh our wives, we say that Mekadosh Am. We recognize it, that we are mashal for the Rebbeinu Shalom and Klal Yisrael. Every husband and wife is a mashal for Klal Yisrael and the Rebbeinu Shalom. And we was our chasna was Matan Torah. That's the bracha we make under the chuppah. Okay, and so Matan Torah Shavuos is a time of a chasana. Is halacha that says in Masechtas Nida Amar Rava Tavulu Yinose. If you a husband that was teveh has its kala, let's go, let's get married. It's time to get to work. And the spicer, and she was masking. Okay, I'm ready to go. He used to wait 12 months. Whereas Mishnah says, okay, when it comes to time, the exact time, and she's masking. The both sides are masking. Let's get chasana. Well, it's not so simple. You have to wait 7 days. And the Amor goes on and says, that even a ketana usually doesn't have damnidus, but even a tana has to go and wait do 7 akiyim. Why? What's the reason by an older one you have to wait 7 days? The machmada. Tana, nami machmada. Tana also has chemda. Chemda, what does it mean? That this that she's so interested in getting married to her feelings and her emotions, there's a chemda to get married to her husband, that is a cause for her to see dam. And even a ketana that doesn't have a regular cycle, but this chemda that's ma'or dam, that's what she does have. And she could see, and we're choshing that she saw. That's the halacha. So that's why the Rava says that Tavel and Nasa, you have to wait 7 days. So, if there's halacha, a Tavel and Nasa, you need 7 days. If you need 7 days, in order to get married, again, so that's another very momentous moment in a person's life. The first time she decides, yes, we're getting married very shortly, let's go have a chazna. No, it's not so simple. You have to wait. You have to wait, and we have to wait 7 days. So we have 3 cases. We have someone decides to get married, and once they get married, dam sulam, and when they have a baby. These 3 very momentous times, which we would think it's time to get together. Torah says, wait. Let's wait. Let's not jump into the story into it right away. Of course, we need to understand this, and we spoke about this already. That the Baruch Shalom doesn't want we should have a physical relation. The Baruch Shalom wants we should have an intimate relation. Our relation should be built on intimacy. Our relation should be built on love. Our relation should be a connection. It shouldn't be chas v'shalom just kosher rape, kosher enjoyment and experience. Should enjoy each other. That's not what Hashem wants. Hashem wants there should be of an emotional bond. The physical bond should help out. You should enjoy the physical part, but it should just be a way to help out connection, a form to something greater than just physical. When you eat, you enjoy the food, but there's something much more going on than every time you eat. You're actually sustaining your life. No one would ever dream of that the enjoyment of the food is more important to what it's causing, the life that it's causing. So yes, Hashem made it enjoyable, that it should be enjoyable while you're actually doing something so special as saving your life. It should be very enjoyable. Because it's just the opposite. Because it's so special, it should be so enjoyable. It should be enjoyable experience every time you do something special. And the enjoyment of relations with your husband and wife is even more special than the actual life. That's actually building the foundations of putting life together. It's not just giving you opportunity to live. It's actually building a human being. And that's a lot more enjoyable. Hashem wants it to be enjoyable, but it has to be building a human being. To recognize this is a lot more important than the actual enjoyment. And so the Hashem made in all these times. Don't get carried away with the physical part. Don't get lost. You know, yes, getting married, okay, prepare yourself. 7 days Nikiyim. Focus on your husband. and then get married. So don't go right away to the physical part. You got married, and you're together already, and you actually made the bias mitzvah. You made her a kli. Now she's your wife. You finished the chasana. The nisuin was nigma with the bias mitzvah. You made it a kli. Now you both won. Don't root that status of you both won with just getting lost in the physical part. Pause, connect, and then go further. You had a baby. Wow, you came to a major moment. Okay, you're gonna get lost now in the enjoyment of just physical because you're so close. It's so overpowered. The need, the to a certain extent, the time of love is so overpowering that you could get lost in the physical part because it's so overpowering. Pause. A week. Yes, making a bris milah, you can have a happy time. So you have to go to the mikveh to be ready. Hashem made 7 days. You should enjoy together. It's a simcha. You should enjoy together. But pause. Pause for a week. And that's the idea over here that when you're getting married, Hashem wants Tavli Nase, they're both masking, you have to wait a week. So if Matan Torah is a chasna, so then we have to wait. So if Matan Torah is a chasna, so we have to wait 7 days before the chasna. 7 days before the chasna. That's the 7 weeks that we have to wait for Yisrael to get rid of Thomas Nidach. And that's what the Netziv writes in his Pirish of Hamak Dover, and he writes over there he says that there's 2 mitzvahs, right? We know there's two halachas of on Sfirat. There's a mitzvah to count the days and the mitzvah to count the weeks. And he explains the idea of the mitzvah of counting the days. He explains that the idea is about corresponds to the kima mitzvahs of the Torah. He's marach over there. The mitzvah every day is meramas on the idea of the mitzvahs, tayyig mitzvahs of the Torah. That's why we have to count the mitzvahs. When you think of what's the mitzvah of the weeks, he says the mitzvah of the counting the weeks. He lahoyer islanu to teach us Shabbat Eis Matan Torah that in time of Matan Torah niskasharnu Hashem kaviyachol. We came mekusha with Hashem kaviyachol. Kaviyachol kala and chnesses chuppah, just like a kala that goes into the chuppah. Ashelavatshi mishtabedas lamahas yidel. Besides that, she's mishubed for for Ma'asidel to cook in the house and get everything, take care of the house. She's also mechuyev, besides the actual physical work, she's mechuyev to put her mind and soul into her love into him. To put her love just into him. And that's why you need to have 7 days every chassan. You have to wait Tavul Nasa. You have to wait 7 days. You have to wait a week because it has to be special for this chassan. And that's the idea of Dam Chibud. He says Shesh Lachish Makala Yosef. Why are we more Choshesh Makala more? Because she's supposed to put her mind into him. She's put her mind into him. That means the chimud, the desire to be with him, that focus that she has is ma'or dam nidus. That's why she has to wait 7 days. So there's a din of Hashem wanted every woman should get prepared to her husband. So he made this focus of this week, 7 days. And that's the dam chimud of 7 days. And that is that's besides there's a mitzvah to take care of your house. The wife is supposed to love only, put her mind and soul into the love of her husband, and that's the mitzvah of 7 weeks of 7 weeks, which corresponds to the week of before the chasna. So that same thing, besides the ma'aseh mitzvahs, which is the counting the days, we have to put our love into Hashem in Shavuos before Matan Torah, because we have to focus, we have to give time and focus in Hashem to Yagu and all our tzaynis, get ready for the Yom Teshuvos upon him. Not come to Hashem just pale, just let's come to the chasna and not ready for it, not focused on the love you have to your husband. That was ridiculous. So we have to get ready and focus 7 weeks, which corresponds to 7 days, which is the Tara Ish Labayla. He says because it's not as easy as a person to work on the love for Hashem like it is to work on his love for your wife. Hashem gave us 7 weeks, not 7 days. And that's why it's called Chag HaShavuos. Not why is it called? The Yom Tov is called on the weeks, not on the days. That to tell you that the main part over here is to focus and be on Hashem and the love that we have for Hashem, and that's what it means. That's called Chag HaTzeres. Means to speak. We focus totally Otzer Fnei Hashem. It goes on to this idea. So we have two concepts. We have a concept of Tumas Nida that the Chaim Kodesh spoke, and we'll see more later from the Zohar Kodesh, which he brings down. And then we have a concept of Tumas Nida, of a Chassid L'Kala, which really goes hand in hand. That now we're getting ready for Hashem. Hashem said, let's go get married. So once by Hashem telling us, let's get married, we found ourselves in a whole new state of being. Like until now, we were part of the Mitzrayim. We were betoich we were part of this whole system of the Mitzrayim. And when Hashem gave us that calling to be part of Him, He took us out of that tumah, and He took us out of there. But now we have to get ready to get rid of what's within us, that tumah, what's within us, and get rid of it in order to create the new, our new matzav with Hashem. So the tumas nida that we have now comes from this, that Hashem was teveh us. He said, let's get married. So now we have a whole new state of being. Now we realize that what the matzav that we were until now was a tumas nida. We have to get rid of it. We have to spit it out of us. We have to cleanse ourselves from it. And that is the matzav. That is why these two things come together. It's not just tumas nida. It's the matzav of the chasna brought us to a new state of understanding that we have to get rid of the matzav that we were until now. So, Bez Hashem, this is part 1. I hope to continue next year more detail between Shavuos and Tumas Nida.